Well then, so we are back down the lake, another weekend. It's Friday, it's a little after 4 PM and approximately 20 hours at my disposal. Now I don't know if you can tell, conditions are bang on. We've got some really strong winds, some overcast, some rain and a bit of sunshine as we have at the moment, but you may recognise this swim. It's exactly where I was last Sunday. So I've got down here, I managed to get straight back in here luckily. So over my shoulder, I've already had one of the rods out, just fine tuning that spot again, making sure everything's bang on. Got it wrapped up. I know exactly the wraps from sort of last weekend, but yeah, I put a lead out a few times just to be 100% certain, and yeah, bang, straight back on the spot. So I'm going to get the bit of bait out, get both rods out and that before I sort anything else out, and we can see then how the next 20 hours pan out. So I've got until sort of around Saturday midday, Saturday 12 PM before I have to disappear. I was up here in fact on Wednesday evening and had to drop in a swim 1 or 2 down because someone was in here, and it was a really good evening, felt really good for it, and I just had to get out and give it a go. So I didn't get down here until sort of gone 8 PM. It took me a little while to find a spot in a couple of swims down because of the weed, but yeah, I managed to find somewhere, but unfortunately it's yeah, it just didn't happen. So I was hearing fish the following morning up here again in front of this swim, and saw a couple of shows in front of this swim as well. So it would not surprise me if whoever was in here on Wednesday night, Thursday morning didn't walk away with a fish or 2 under their belt, because they were certainly showing. So I'll come back in here to try my luck for the next 20 hours. Fingers crossed we can make it happen. Let's shut up, get these rods sorted, get them out, try and catch ourselves a carp or 2. So for this session then, it's going to be pretty much pressing the repeat button. So I'm in the same swim, same spots, using the same bait. Everything is literally going to be a carbon copy of last weekend. I've got no reason to change it. But on my previous video, I didn't actually talk you through how sort of I got my rods set up really. So on my rods I'm going in with lead clips. Basically it's weedy. I want to be able to drop the lead if it does get weeded up at all. Thankfully the last 2 fish that I had out of this swim did go into the weed, but they pretty much just ploughed straight through it, so there wasn't really any resistance or anything like that. But I am fishing, like I say, lead clips, which will allow me to drop the lead if I need to. Now down to the sort of business end, I've got 8 inches or so there of a semi-stiff coated braid anti-tangle sleeve at that end, which will go over the quick change swivel just to allow my hook bait to be pushed away a little bit more, just because that length of rig is a little bit longer than I'd normally use. So I've gone with a sort of standard longer one, where I do like to use the minis if I can get away with it. Then down the hook end I have got a size 4 Corda claw hook, so those new claw hooks that they recently released. I'm a massive fan of their curves, and these ones are just seem like they're an upgraded version to the Corda curves. So thought I'd give them a bash last weekend, and done me proud with hooking and holding onto those 2 fish nicely. So feel no reason again to change. There is obviously a quick change swivel under there, which the eye of the hook's been mounted onto. Shrink tubing steam down onto it, just a little bit over the swivel as well to keep everything in place. I have got an ESP artificial hook bait there. On this session I'm going to go with one of the cream ones, and on the other rig I've got a washed out pink one. Now last weekend the washed out pink did do me 2 bites, but I thought just for this session I'll mix it up a little bit, have one on each, see if yeah, they like one over the other. But as you can see, there is no putty on there whatsoever, so if there were crays out on the spot or anything like that, then this isn't going to get pestered or picked up by the crays. And as I mentioned again in my video last week, I've got the artificial baits just because there's so much bird life on this lake. I know that if they pick that up, one, there's not going to be any chunks out of it and affect the buoyancy. Two, they're going to realise that there ain't actually any food value to it, drop it straight back down, and it's going to flutter back down, rest back on the spot, and pretty much reset my rig for me really. So yeah, these ESP artificial baits balance out these size 4 hooks absolutely lovely. So with the weight of the swivel in there as well, when it's dropped down in the margin, it just drops so slowly, and with the semi-stiffness of that braid, everything just kicks away ever so slowly, and it just balances out absolutely perfectly. Then the last thing, because these have been glugging in a pot, so they are tainted with a smell, I'm just using the booster bottle basically to jazz them up a bit before casting out, just give them a little bit more pulling power. So all I'm doing then, as I say, just to boost them up a bit, take the booster and just give it a few squirts with the bottle, and just massage it round with the tip of the bottle really. If you can, try not to get any of that, if you're using the scent from hell at least, on your fingers or your clothes. It absolutely stinks. So yeah, if you can, try and do it away from your clothes and away from your fingers, and just yeah, give it a few drops before sort of casting out really, and just allow that just to mask and soak into the hook bait itself. I've also just been running it up and down the lead over the leader, and just giving all of my sort of terminal tackle just you know, a few drops, and just massaging it in, just to allow more pulling power around the business end. Well then, that is proper decent timing, literally before 5 o'clock, and I've got the rods out. I've got the tactical compact bivvy set up. Thought I'd mix it up a little bit easier. That bivvy is just as easy to set up as it is the brolly, just gives a little bit more comfort. We're meant to get a little bit of rain, potentially some heavy downpours tomorrow, so yeah, just thought I'll have a bit of comfort this weekend. So yeah, that is looking mega. Bed chair and all that inside. Tried to just put it on a bit of a cleaner area because it's been absolutely relentless, the rain today, so it's a bit boggy in areas and stuff, so I've tried to keep it in a bit of a clearer area at least. But yeah, all calm at the moment. Like I say, rods have gone out, bang on, really happy. Bait's gone out, can't really do any more to be quite honest. It's whether the fish are still in this zone where they were from Thursday, or whether they're fancying a little bit of a feed up on my spot again. So only time will tell, but for now I am going to get a brew on the go, get a bite to eat, give it an hour and a half max, and it'll be dark before you know it, and bring on the 12 hours of darkness. So yeah, let's keep everything crossed that we can repeat the same from last weekend and stick another fish or two on the mat. Good morning, and what a very wet morning it is. We've had sort of really heavy persistent rain pretty much through the night. I've had to be sort of zipped up all night, and I'm just currently peering out this small gap through the bivvy, watching over the water really. It's around 7:30, and I heard quite a few shows last night, quite a few boshes. I'm quite surprised that it didn't happen, but I'm a little bit grateful on that front, because last night my head torch died, so even if I did get a bite, there was probably a chance that I would have had to have done it all in the dark, and that would have been problematic at best. So probably for the best that nothing didn't happen. So yeah, we've got what, you know, good sort of 5 hours yet, just under 5 hours to see if anything happens. It looks good for it out there. Overcast, raining, chop on the water. It is rather windy, although it isn't at the moment. You do get these sort sort of gusts of wind coming through. It's going to be sort of 30-mile-an-hour winds, I think, today, so you never know, might just stir them up a little bit. But I want to get the kettle on, get myself my first coffee down my neck, keep everything crossed. We can nick a fish this morning. Absolutely beautiful, and off the back of that wind it's actually quite warm, which is decent because it's allowed me to dry off some of that, give that a good airing out and drying off as well. Zig at the back is just taking in the last of that sunshine, but yeah, it's quite a nice morning, to be quite honest with you, and like I say, perfect for drying out the bivvy and stuff before I head off home. So we're into the last sort of 45 minutes of the session, and I can't see anything happening, to be quite honest with you, now that that sun's up as it is. Even the shows that I was seeing opposite me have stopped as well. So I'm not quite sure when I'm going to get out again. Next week I might try and squeeze an overnighter in, and possibly a Sunday afternoon into Monday morning again. But yeah, as you know, my fishing is literally a drop of a hat, so can't really plan too far ahead. But I guess I'll probably tag this video on to another couple of sessions videos, just to make it sort of worthwhile watching, and yeah, not just sort of like a repeat of the first video that I've uploaded from the sort of club water session. So I might just tag a few sessions onto each other, give you a better idea of what I've been doing sort of movements wise. So for now, I'm just like I say, gonna let that dry out, get all my other bits and pieces sort of packed away and tidy, keep everything crossed that there's a last minute bite on the cards, and I will catch up with you next time I am out on the bank.